Okay, so you're gonna understand my feelings about this movie, but when you do, just know that I really needed to pee the whole time I was watching this. It got to a point where I just couldn't sit there any longer. It got to the point where, you know, when you trying to hold in your urine, and you start to feel like your kidneys are about to cave in on themselves, and you start like kind of doubling over, like, oh my god, like you start doing the happy dance. You just, oh, don't think about water, don't think about water. That was me for a good hour of this movie, which, I don't know, maybe that kind of got in my mind and maybe pissed me off a bit more. Maybe the movie was just as it is, and you'll find out how I feel about it. But just the whole time, I needed to piss really badly, and I was actually thankful that I got out of there. Independence Day Resurgence shows us the world changed by the globe-stomping alien destruction in 1996's Independence Day, with humans now uniting under peace and with stolen alien technology to conquer our solar system. We prepare ourselves for their next attack, but we end up not being ready for the abomination awaiting. Unfortunately, that abomination is not the plot of this movie, but the movie itself. The original movie, Independence Day, can still be watched as an admittedly dumb but incredibly fun piece of action escapism and super patriotism. Independence Day Resurgence is as dumb as its predecessor, with none of the natural charm, energy, or mind-blowing stakes. Jeff Goldblum returns as David Levinson, and instead of being the charismatic guy we know him to be, Goldblum's performance resembles Mark Wahlberg in The Happening, unclear emotions and plenty of confusion. Bill Pullman, who I hope will be a source of genuine heart as he is plagued by alien nightmares, just gets relegated to having panic-induced freakouts, tired and forced speeches, and basically being the same character he was 20 years ago. The rest of the cast of this movie is way too fucking long of a list. The cast list is absolutely insane, full of people who I would bother to know the names of had they actually grabbed some of my attention. It might not have been their fault had they not been given a groan-worthy, unfunny, and flimsy script. Director Roland Emmerich proves with his glossy retread that his films have decreased in quality sharply ever since Independence Day. Like I said before, Independence Day isn't that great, and so with 9 films after that movie, you can understand just how pitifully poor Independence Day Resurgence really is. The pacing, editing, and basic storytelling is so jarring, convoluted, and forced that it makes Batman v Superman look like My Dinner with Andre. You start off with a set lot of 6 basic characters who are joined by 15 others, all with their own subplots introduced with only 1 or 2 lines of dialogue and nothing else. We are meant to follow each story simultaneously, which is not made easy when all of our characters travel to the moon, back to Earth, past this disintegrating Singapore, flying through London, across the Nevada desert, and back to Washington, all within 10 seconds. And I'm not even sure that was the actual order of all those events, because I had really just an awful time trying to keep up with where the hell the story was going. It was very obvious that they just made it up on the spot. In the end, I can mark up Independence Day Resurgence on delivering some decent ship-to-ship battles and expanding on the design and action capabilities of the aliens who are attacking us. But if I wanted a watchable, silly, yet epic sci-fi disaster movie, I'd sit down and actually watch the original Independence Day. That's the whole thing that I kept thinking when I was watching this sequel. I'd rather go back and watch the first one. The first one, like I said, is dumb, but at least it's actually tolerable and didn't make me want to actually leave the cinema and go and pee. Ugh. Roland Emmerich, you took way too long to do this, and not even Will Smith could have saved this big budget, low quality mess. And it's definitely a film that is not worth your time. So, Independence Day Resurgence. I know that it's had a lot of backlash against it. Please tell me what you think about it. I'm always interested in hearing people just rip a movie apart with good reason. I don't want to just say people, that was the worst. I just want to hear people say, that was the worst piece of shit because it was dumb and bad and yeah. No, I want you to actually tell me in a big, long, fluent way why this movie was so bad. Because I love to hear that sort of stuff. Remember, push that little red button. Thank you for listening.